What is happening? Welcome to another episode of The Craft. My name is Nick Pollack, and I wanted to talk about rankings as we go down the stretch. And who better to do that with someone who just put out their last edition of their rankings for this year for starting pitchers, and that is Eno Sarris of The Athletic. Eno, oh, it's great to have you back on the show.
Can you imagine doing dynasty pitcher rankings?
No.
No.
That is impossible.
They all break.
I think honestly, when it comes to dynasty leagues, I just think 3 years and I don't care about the fourth.
Yeah.
So yeah, I actually, those who have talked about dynasty rankings with, I've always said, hi, you are undervaluing the guys who are going to be good for the next 3 years and overvaluing guys like Zebby Matthews or something like that.
You're not even
right?
sure they're good yet, Yeah, right. I'm struggling. Yeah, because I generally agree with you, but I have Zach Gallen in a 20-teamer keeper league, and there's been some interest, not that much. And we might as well just keep him because, yeah, I mean, where's he signing? Can somebody do something different with him?
Right.
He's not so old that you're like, his career's over. So,
yeah. I mean, that's
normally I'd say
tough.
Keep him because he'll be innings. He'll be middle rotation guy. He'll probably be all right. I don't have enough middle rotation guys. I'm led by Reagan's at the top. What is my staff? It's decimated with injuries.
I'm really happy you had Cole Reagan's. What are we doing today, though? And I'm going to tell you guys.
Talking about my dynasty team.
Yeah. What you're doing is, what you did, I believe it was earlier this week, maybe it was actually last week. You put out your top, like 100, 125 starting pitchers for the rest of this year. And we're obviously
I did 150, and I may not do 150 in the future because I switched.
You not do 150.
I switched to your way of doing it,
which is
I took out the prospects and the injured players.
Did you though?
Because
I'm seeing at 47 somebody who's very much hurt.
Well, he got hurt the day I put those out.
Oh, when did you put it out?
Friday.
Oh, okay. All right, that's very fair.
Right, isn't it? Who is it?
All right. So this was Chase Burns. I'm like, well, hold on a second. Did he do the thing or not?
I put it out. It was published. And then like an hour later, they're like, forearm. And I'm like, good.
I was actually writing. I don't know if you guys know this. I spend it's like a 5 to 6 hour process when I do the list every Monday. Okay. This is not, everyone wants me to do it on Sunday or get it out earlier on Monday. I'm like, guys, I can't do that.
I want to have a life.
Right. And I had all my rankings done. I actually send to the Discord what the actual table is because they get an ad free experience anyway. They, there's no reason to really hold it back. And it's like, hey, cool. This is a nice thing. You get the rankings early for subscribers. Mm-hmm. But what happens every time is I put that out. I generally do that on the Corner podcast and then I do the notes and that takes another 3 hours or whatever. Something changes. So this week it was Shane Bieber. Like all of a sudden, he's going to actually start on Friday. I'm like, oh God, okay. So I gotta go through, bump this guy off, do this. Oh my gosh. It's the worst. So
and if you do 150, it's even dumber. You know why?
Because they're not going to start it anymore. Yeah.
It's everybody.
Yeah.
And basically, what I did was I didn't have any Rockies in it at first. And then I was like, well, this can't be right. I don't have any Rockies in here. And so I kept combing through it. Oh, that guy's injured, take him out. That guy's injured, take him out. That. Okay, almost there. When I added the last Rocky on, and it's really 145 through 150 is just Rockies. Nice. I was just like, what was the point of that? Like, why
are they here?
Put that out. Like, nobody cares if I rank Gordon or Bradley Baylock.
Well, you put Chase DeLander first, though, right?
Yes. And in fact, he might not have been 145. He might have been like 135 or something.
Oh,
he has some interesting stuff.
I mean, that's the funny thing too, is that we do this so often that everyone listening, you got to understand. For us, like I do the starting pitcher rankings every day for the streamers, and me, I debate between like 27 and 28. That I'm not recommending anyone to do, but I care so much. I'm like, I don't know.
I will say today, I start to care less around 120.
Yeah.
I like really try to nail the rankings. So that's another argument for just doing 125. Because I really try to nail it around 100. I start putting in like, oh, I like this guy and it's interesting. And then at 125, I'm like, well, he exists. And
That is actually a tier of the top 400. Is he exists here, you know, and it might
and then
matter.
When you get to
and
150,
he exists and it
you're
doesn't
like,
matter.
I didn't know he existed until a
yeah,
minute
that's
ago.
the last one. He existed and you forgot. Is the other no, just to even point out the Colorado Rockies stuff. But what I used to do back in like 2016 and 17 is I would have a certain blurb I would do every single time for a Rockies pitcher. And it's like, and I started to bring it back. So I wrote today for Austin Gomber. Gomber has limited upside, pitches his home games at Coors Field, and doesn't deserve a spot on your team. This should be the blurb for every Colorado starter. And that's literally what I write now every day for them. And that's tough. But what we are talking about now, though, guys, is where is Eno higher than I am? And where am I higher than Eno? Who are the ones that we actually have some sort of gap between? And considering I don't know, this is the first time I'm seeing Eno's rankings. This might be the first time you're seeing mine. I don't know, actually.
Not all year.
No. But like as of late, as of,
yeah.
Right. Which is how it should be done, by the way. I think as much as it stinks, I want to support as many people as I can. I can't read people's rankings. I just can't. I'm like, I'm sure you're doing a great job. Because we don't want to dilute it, right? We don't want to get groupthink messing everything up. So I am giving a quick look at yours right now, and oh my gosh, there is one giant problem. Luis Castillo is at 24 for Eno Sarris. And I have him, I want to say in the 50s, something like that. So before I go into my whole thought process, I'm kind of curious where you're coming from with it and why you felt, you know what, I still see that this guy is going to pull it out through the next 6-7 weeks.
I just think it's a huge floor. I think, he's got an above average strikeout minus walk rate, and he's got the best home park in baseball. I think the very least you're playing him every home start and half of his away starts. I don't think he is who he used to be. And he does have a down arrow every time we do the rankings. He drops a couple, but the projections are always pretty strong for him because of that park. I still have a 3.68 ERA projected from him through Oopsie even with the reduced stuff. I know the stuff is reduced. I know he hasn't gotten the fastball velocity back. So I just think it's a floor based on things that maybe aren't that interesting. Not about him as a pitcher as much as his situation.
What if I called him a Toby?
I've learned enough not to argue with you on that.
This is Jose Barrios.
But if you put Jose Barrios in Seattle, like, it's already a little bit more interesting. So there needs to be you need to have like a Seattle Toby. It's, you're just joking about having a Rockies blurb,
right?
You almost need to have like a Seattle Giants version of that, where it's like, this pitcher is okay, everything about him is okay, but he pitches in Seattle, or he pitches in San Francisco. So those guys, Landon Roop, I think, not in San Francisco, is probably like a 4.2 ERA guy that's below a Toby,
Interesting. I haven't been grading guys in San Francisco specifically on the same level as I have the T, that is T-Mobile Park. Should I be doing that?
They changed the dimensions, and it's not quite the pitcher. So Seattle took over. Seattle became the most pitcher-friendly park after San Francisco changed their dimensions. But if you want to just sort of like crib, just want to have a thing in your head, I think you can say St. Louis, San Francisco, and Seattle. Those are the three I think are the most pitcher-friendly. It changes from year to year.
In there?
Yeah. But there's a little bit of an asterisk with PNC Park, I believe, with righties versus lefties.
Oh, that's interesting.
It plays a little differently from one end to the other.
That stuff, that's so wild. I will say this about Castillo is I think you're very much right about Seattle, and I'm probably not taking that into account enough about being in that home park. And for the most part, you want to do that one. Like if the Yankees are going to Seattle, though, I don't know if I really want to. But I mean, he did show up in that game that we watched together with Will Warren. But I'm really worried about Castillo because it feels like guys are starting to realize how to attack him as hitters. The book is out that you throw four seamers upstairs, Castillo, and you throw sinkers up there too. And then your slider and your changeup are not as deadly as they used to be. And we can keyhole those low, and we don't really need to worry about them. And there's a reason why he's gone 5 strikeouts or fewer in each of his last 4 starts. I'm starting to really think that the degradation is coming and it's a real downward trend. However, where I have him right now is 60, and that might be too harsh. I don't think that 24 is quite understanding of that downturn, where I see like Nick Pivetta, for example, Nathan Eovaldi, the Shohei Ohtani, who's now at 80 pitches or so.
Maybe we could. Where do you have Sonny Gray?
Yeah, I have Sonny Gray around 28, I think it is.
I have 34.
29, so close.
We're really close. I'm just looking at Sonny Gray's projections. Pitchers Park, better K minus BB, better projected K percentage. Similar model numbers for me.
Well, how about this?
He could be behind Sonny Gray at least. Mm-hmm. So, I could see moving him into the mid 30s at least.
So like Kodai Senga, Max Scherzer, Ryan Nelson, Seth Lugo, or this little mini tier I have in tier 8, which is 39 through 42.
Yeah. I like that one.
Okay. So that's probably where I put it, because that's underneath Shohei Ohtani and
Kodai has that great Pitchers Park and terrible K minus BB, pretty poor model numbers, but pretty good results. So I think that's an interesting place to put him next to.
And nice. Okay. And then in tier 6 is my weird one with like all the ones I go, okay, great. These were your value picks in the draft of Edward Cabrera and Matthew Boyd and Merrill Kelly and Noah Cameron. 2 of those being lefties with amazing changeups, which is such a popular thing this year. Andrew Abbott, Trevor Rogers, Ranger Suarez.
Did you see there was an article by Stephen Nesbitt up today?
I saw this morning, and oh my gosh, I love it.
Yeah. It's the year of the lefty, the best results lefties had against righties, best results lefties in general.
So I couldn't read all of it. I saw like the ERA gaps, which I thought were fascinating as well. The change of focus too. I guess the biggest question I have really for you is, what is your greatest explanation for why we have the situation of lefties who are not hard throwers, or at least as hard thrower? We don't see just another 98 mile per hour lefty showing up out of nowhere every day, like we feel like we do with right-handers. And you have these pitchers who are also, look, if someone showed up as a right-hander with a really good changeup or a really good slider at 91, 92, like, no chance. But all of a sudden we see all of these guys get that. So what is it, do you think, that creates this scenario exactly? Do you have any hypotheses about it?
Yeah. The pitchers, the percentage of pitches thrown by left-handed starters in the StatCast era, as a percentage of all of the pitches, is at its lowest in the StatCast era. So we started out, in 2015 with 18% of the pitches of all the pitches in baseball were thrown by left-handed starters, and it's down to 15%. Now I don't, that doesn't seem like a lot, but the difference between this year and that year, in terms of all pitches, is still going to be on the order of 8,000 fewer pitches.
Wait a second. So hold on a second. 15% of all pitches are thrown by left-handers as starters?
Yeah.
85% are right-handers?
No, that's a percentage of all pitches by left-handed starters.
Gotcha. Sorry.
But the effect is I'm not playing any games here. Like,
no.
If I can make it pitchers, and the effect is still there. It's just that there are a fair amount of lefty relievers, so the effect is a little bit lessened.
Sure.
If I take that out.
So no, I understand, but so
the effect is, let me just see what the effect is really quickly.
Yeah.
For that one. That one, we're down from a peak of 30% to 27%. So still that 3% is missing, but it's not the bottom. Right. There have been other years where there have been fewer overall. So we have lefty relievers. We don't have lefty starters. I think it's probably just a short-term issue, because I've done this before. I'm an old man. I've been writing for long enough where I've written like where have all the catching prospects gone? You know,
Mm.
and now we're like, whoa, there's some pretty good ones. You know,
Right.
So there's always, and then there's variations of like, where are the American this or where are the Latin this, and like, I think that they're just over time. There's just ebbs and flows of, and I think sometimes it might be related to like, it's related to things like what sports people are picking in certain areas, and then there's also
Absolutely.
sometimes
Yeah.
it's like, oh, Randy Johnson was on TV, and so then maybe people were like, I'm going to learn, I'm a right-hander, but I'm going to learn how to throw left-handed because I want to be Randy. You know what I mean? Like, so
Yeah, right. I
you have
want to
to
throw
see
sidearm
it.
now. I want to do
Yeah, you
this.
have to see it to kind of fall in love with it and to
Absolutely.
be it. So for whatever reason, we're at a low point for lefty starters, and that's basically what Austin Riley said when I asked him. He said, we just don't see lefties as much anymore.
So this is another element though I do want to mention is like, I'm just thinking of it from them being as successful, but to the opposite handed kind of. So like, let me put it this way. I've thought of lefty changeups as the equivalent to a righty slider, right? So like it's the same concept of, hey, cool, this is a slower pitch
Getting
going.
same-handed. No.
So a right-handed batter getting a righty slider versus a lefty changeup, right?
Okay.
It's right. So it's the same concept of you're staying away and fading off of the plate, right?
Right. Okay, yeah.
Now if you compare right-handed versus right-handed, left-handed versus left-hander, I think we can all agree that left-handers just are worse against left-handers than right-handers are against right-handers, right? Like the sinker is now being embraced more, which is great
that points to my explanation being right, I think, because you see a ton of right-handers.
Well, so what I'm getting at is the nullifying is better. That is, lefties have a better tool more often against right-handers than right-handers have a better tool against left-handers, and they nullify their same-handed better, right? So that just makes okay, cool. And now it just breeds the changeup being a changeup focused pitcher, and that means that a lot of the guys as they develop, well, if they're a changeup focused pitcher, what kind of pitcher is that? That's a command pitcher usually, which then doesn't speak to the high velocity ones.
That doesn't have the high velocity,
right?
Maybe, yeah.
So I mean, that's kind of where my head goes with this a little bit. Of how are they getting there in the first place? With development, you also have fewer guys who have higher velocity to beat, which means then the bigger focus is on command because you don't have as many to compete against. Let's say like all the guys are who are 95 and harder are removed. Now what's going to differentiate the 92, 93? They all need to then be command focused, and that's how they stand out now, right? So you're then going to get the best of the best in command, and that's what we're seeing with it. I think that's why like Noah Cameron and Matthew Boyd and Andrew Abbott's and Trevor Rogers, even like all these ones are like they confuse us because hold on, you're throwing like 92, 93, but they all have a good changeup that they get down or get away, and they pair it with some breaking ball and they're able to take out lefties. And this is kind of the mold that I'm realizing. Oh man. Yeah, this is why like Tyler Anderson all of a sudden has these great starts because he has command sometimes. And when he does, it's like, oh, this is good. And why I'm still upset that Joey Cantillo is not starting right now.
Yeah.
Oh, but
the one thing that occurs to me is like one explanation I wanted to come up with, and I want to be true, but I don't know if it is true. Is like, oh, we're getting better at harnessing seam shifted wake, and so we're, the first times through with the different technology we had, it was very focused on spin and high spin and vertical movement and things that we could see on the TrackMan and on the on the Pitch FX like very easily. And what we're seeing with changeups is that I think sometimes spin axis defect, spin axis deception, like looking like it's spinning one way and moving a different way, basically what seam shift wake does sometimes,
right?
That is really important for changeups. And so I think we are in the midst right now of developing better changeups. We're having more and more pitchers with multiple changeups. So, like Paul Skeens has 2 changeups. He throws a splitter and the change. So I want to say, oh, that's a big part of it. Changeups. We're better at changeups. But here are the top changeups by run value by Baseball Savant: Tarek Skubal, Blake Snell, Trevor Rogers, Matthew Liberatore, very interestingly, Garrett Crochet, even though he's only had 110 thrown. This is per 100 thrown. Christopher Sanchez, obviously. So, he's the one who's thrown the most on this group. Dietrich Enns, Nick Lodolo, Andrew Abbott, Ranger Suarez, Jacob Latz, Matthew Boyd. Okay, these are guys. David Peterson. Showtime.
Jacob Latz, to me, by the way, guys, if he does start next year,
I'm like it.
Yeah.
But so how many of these guys you think needed seam shifted wake and related technology and coaching to dial in their changes?
I have a revelation for you. I got it. I got Frizen. Okay. You know what that is, right? It's when like the goosebumps on your arm and stuff. So here's the thing. When it comes to molds of pitchers, what would you say are like the two most popular ones? I mean, made popular by the Yankees, how we distinguish their two different ones, right? We've got the Severino type, which I guess the former Severino.
Over the top, the sinker sweeper,
and then the sinker sweeper, right?
Sinker sweeper.
Yeah. You can't survive as a lefty sinker sweeper because you're going against righties.
Yeah.
So you just weed that out. Unless you're Sean Manaea, I guess, these days. Or like if you're Randy Johnson, but that's a different kind of mold. I mean, it was a little bit of Garrett Crochet, but that means
none of the guys that I was mentioning
96,
was who's a sinker sweeper guy on this list. Trevor Rogers is a little bit close, but he throws a four.
No, he changeup is predominantly it. Slider is third.
He's a sinker sweeper. Yeah, I thought Liberatore might be that, but he's on this changeup list.
These guys all have a higher arm angle. Right, I would imagine because of that, and they came up not being that sinker sweeper, which means you're more likely to be on top of the changeup then, right?
Yeah,
that's my mentality with this, and that plays most successfully.
Yeah, Bubic, Povich on here too. Yeah, I think.
Oh man. All right, so we're gonna have a whole thing, I'm sure, in this offseason, be like, all right, who are the boring?
If we are,
lefty?
If we are entering the age of the over the top lefty, because we used to have the sort of
Mr. Parker, baby, let's go, Billy Falter.
But if we are, then we should finally see some more lefty splitters,
and curveballs.
We almost never see lefty splitters.
Yeah, it was Mitchell Parker actually threw them one last year.
But there's not that many people who throw it. And the explanation I was given was that mostly lefties are lower slot, and you don't really throw a splitter from a lower slot. So
and I think that's like when I'm thinking about those lower slot ones. There's Jacob Lopez actually now, a little bit. There's I'm thinking the ones who are successful. I mean, again, Chris Sale, Crochet, like you guys are unique, and Chris Sale used to also have a big changeup before, and you just kind of axed it. David Price, was David Price a changeup guy? There's a name I don't ever think about.
Cutter.
What about you?
Cutter. I think of the Cutter.
Yeah.
I think of David Price. But I think, he was a changeup guy. Yeah, he was.
Okay. David Price, I just realized the other day, was like such an ace and such a name for so long that I just completely eradicated from my mind for some reason. But Eduardo Rodriguez, another kind of change of focus lefty, was a big thing for him for a while. I don't know. It's really gotten me thinking of like the comparative to four seamer slider is change of focus.
There are some low slot guys on my changeup list though.
Like who?
Let me see here. Trevor Rogers is 22 degree. Christopher Sanchez 28. Nick Lodolo's 15. There's no, another thing is this. There's never any one explanation for league trends like this. There's always a couple things going on.
Yeah. It's fascinating thing. It has nothing to do with our rankings, and I apologize, guys. But it is something that I'm certainly gonna be thinking. Jesus Luzardo changeup. He's actually been pulling it away.
I've got one where you're higher than I am.
Who's that?
And we used to be in more of an agreement.
Oh no. What have I done?
And it's almost exactly the opposite of what we just argued.
Wait, I gotta think now. Who were you higher on than I was?
I have him at 60. And you have him at 28.
Oh, really? Oh, interesting. I think Mackenzie Gore just completely fixed a lot of things, but we're going to talk about him and many more after this break. So why should I not be in on Mackenzie Gore,
For a few reasons. I mean, I always had him higher than my projections. So even now with a 4.12 ERA, The only people projected ERA, the only people with a 4 that I have higher are Spencer Strider. No, Shota Monaga, because I think the model is just missing something on him. So I have him higher than my projections. Yusei Kikuchi, who has a 405. Gore has a 412. And Yusei Kikuchi's right by him. Casey Mize has a 415. So he's basically pushed. There's like a group of 3 that are pushed as high as I haven't pushed. But I have pushed him closer to the 4s this time, just because he has demonstrated over the course of every season in his career a late season fade, which I don't know that it's predictive. It definitely hasn't been shown to be predictive for hitters. But for pitchers, when you have a career 3.87 first half ERA and a career 4.90 second half ERA, it's something that I'll notice, because I think that fatigue is a factor there that might be more of a big difference than it is for hitters. So I saw the fatigue. I saw the projections. Right now, the only pitch that we have in our model that's above average is the 4-seam by Stuff. The locations are okay, but they're not always his biggest strength. So I didn't have a real argument against. I didn't really have an argument for like why I should push this guy higher than his projections. So I kind of just put him where his projections have him.
Sure, that makes sense. There's only one guy I think I really believe in second half stuff for, and I can describe it with 3 words. It's hot, Snell, summer.
You believe in good second half splits for him.
Oh my gosh, it's insane. We just got it right now. He came back from the IL. They came back from the IL. I was like, oh yeah, right. Ace is gonna ace. I put him at 5. I'm like, this is it. I'm gonna stop trying anymore. Like, we know he's.
So what has Gore done recently? Because I can't see in the stuff.
Right. So here's the thing: you put out this ranking on Friday.
Recently. His 4-seam is better recently.
Right. So I got to take advantage of the fact that he pitched on Friday. You didn't. Where he looked again like himself. And the way I see this is Mackenzie Gore was still just incredible through, let's say it was July 9th, right? July 9th, no one would protest the ranking that I had, as Gore was boasting a 3.02 ERA, 119 whip, 31% K rate, right? I mean, it's just like, all right, this is just kind of what you do. It's not really the most exciting thing. You're not really at your peak, but we're still very good about this. And then what happened is he then had 3 really bad games in his next, actually really 4 in a row, because even though he had 1 earned run against the Twins, it was 6 walks. And there were some talks about tipping. There was I was pretty much just watching somebody like, yeah, he just doesn't have a feel for his curveball, and it's not really coming together well. Last 2 starts, much better. And I think of every season with pitchers as you're going to have your great stretch, you're going to have your bad stretch. And really the things in between are what define the season, or just like how bad is the bad stretch. I mean, this was a really bad one of 23 runs in 4 games. I mean, that's as bad as you will really find for a guy. But the fact that Mackenzie Gore has 17 strikeouts in 12 innings since, and only 2 runs, and it's like, all right, I feel like you're just kind of more of that guy from before. Before he was a top 20 starter. And when I was doing my groupings with everything, I thought, yeah, like Mackenzie Gore you're going to be starting the rest of the way.
Yeah, let's see where he ranks on the year.
It's a 4.04 ERA, because that's when you said 4.14. I was like, aha, you didn't get the latest start.
Yeah. On the year by the auction calculator in terms of accrued value.
Whip 132, 5 wins. Oh no.
He's 113th. To your point though, this is great. I have the game log open, and his Stuff Plus in between that sort of in that stretch, July 20th to August 5th, that 4-game stretch that's so bad. Those are the worst command, the worst location plus numbers on his curveball.
Okay, that's sporting what I was looking at.
Yeah, so And in the last 2, he's had some of his better ones. So I think that's really important too, because he needs to locate his secondaries, and sometimes he does. For the season he has, because his 4-seam is his best pitch, and so if he can use the four seam for action and command, and then basically use the breaking balls like through command, in leverage counts, right? So if your slider and your curve are going to be better if you know they're going to swing.
Right.
So if you push them into a count that you can swing, that they're going to swing, then you can just command it, right? So, and we talked about this before in a lot of different ways, but I still one thing that's tough for me is, he's been 113th on the year, so I don't think that he was 20th before that bad stretch. Maybe it was a really disastrous stretch. The other thing is that just Washington is a homer park, and we're in the homer month, so this is something I've noticed when I was doing the rankings. Like in the top 10, I was looking at the game logs and I was like, oh, he's had his worst week in the last week. It's like true for almost like Logan Gilbert just got smashed. Like Skeens had like a bad start. Like all the top guys. Yeah. And even Wheeler had a couple bad starts. And I was
he had a whole blood clot in his shoulder, but right.
And I do like a blurb just for the only top 25. So I was like, going to write something about each of them. And for like 5 of the top 10, I had to be like, don't worry about the last bad start.
Right.
and so I think that for Gore, I'm not sure that he's like in that category. I'm like, don't worry about those last bad starts. I think that in that park in August is when the homers are going to be live there. And that is actually something to think about too, in terms of just like the shape of a season. What you're going to have for a lot of guys is like really good ERAs in April and May that get worse, but if they started with the really good ERA, then you don't notice that they're getting worse.
Right. Happens all the time.
And then like, it really sucks for somebody like maybe like Sean Manaea, who like, he might've given us a month or two of, like a 3.2 or 3.3 ERA, but he just like plop, like arrived in July and August. You're just like, oh, okay. This is not going to be forgiving. Those homers are going out. So I just think this is the bad stretch of the season. Maybe he has a good September or gets it down to like 3.8 or something. I think he'll just end up, as like the 70th best guy on the season. Now we're supposed to be looking forward. So I get it. So maybe he is the 30th best guy through September. Right.
Well, that's the thing too, is that it's hard to, 30th best guy, man. It's always so difficult because I say this often. I don't value wins as much as I should, or at least it's very hard for me inside of my rankings to value wins, because one win difference is such a big swing on any player rater. And this is something I really emphasize actually at the end of the season, talking about the next one, is that people say, well, he was 25th on the player rater. So I'm like, dude, player rater is volume most of the time. It's just like, did you start 30 games and you're going to have 10 wins or something like that, versus the guy who started 20 games and he has 6 wins, right? It's hard for me to
you can also pitch for the Nationals, and he's 5-12. Now, I think there's a lot of flukiness in that too. That there could be another pitcher, if the pitcher for the Nationals, I'm sure there's another pitcher who has like 10 wins or whatever,
Sure, right.
And last year the Nationals were bad and Mackenzie Gore had 10 wins. So, there's a lot of flukiness to it, and I don't like to chase it, but at the same time,
no, there needs to be some value given to them.
Yeah, he may only end up with like 8 wins on the season and like a 3.9 ERA and like a 1.29 WHIP. Like I don't even know if that'll be back end top 100, for the year.
So we got to move on, because I highlighted myself and I realized that it's a view only spreadsheet, so I can't touch anything else. I just went through the orders and be like, oh, these are the ones to talk about. I'm like, oh, I can't touch anything now. What I am seeing is, just to pin this completely on the left-handed changeup kind of thing, these rankings that you have are very anti the success of a lot of these southpaws so far. And so the ones I'm seeing, for example, is Ranger Suarez at 48. I'm seeing Andrew Abbott at 70. Noah Cameron at 84. Trevor Rogers at 90. And my takeaway from this is like, okay, oopsie doesn't like it. And
yeah, that's a big part of it. I just have because I have those guys pushed about as high as their projections. Like Ranger Suarez has a 393. The three guys ahead of him average out to like a 3.8 ERA projection. He's basically one of the highest 393s, that sort of level. And Andrew Abbott has a 4.48 ERA projection through Oopsie. He's right behind Lana Roop, who has a 3.96.
Yeah,
so
the thing is,
like from my perspective, I push those guys higher than my model suggests I should have them.
Right.
And so I don't know how far to do that, like, because we took in Stuff Plus, we made Is He a Lefty a feature?
Yeah, sure.
Because lefties were not modeling right. So we've already tweaked the model to help lefties. And so that's already under the hood in the projections. And then I'm already pushing them as high as like I feel comfortable to. It would just be so weird for me to like take this 4.48 projection for Andrew Abbott and put it in the top 50 and put him next to like here Tanner Bybee. Let's say you like Andrew Abbott better than Tanner Bybee. I'm not.
I absolutely do.
You do.
Tanner Bybee isn't in my top 100.
Okay, so I have a 3.75 projection for Tanner Bybee. So if I put Andrew Abbott ahead of Tanner Bybee, I'm saying my projections that I use as the foundation of this are off by almost a full run
for on one guy.
Yeah. I think
maybe it's like both ways. Maybe it's 50 each or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, that seems like too much to me. Then it'd be like
I totally understand that. I guess
that would make me
benefit I have. I can just kind of go with whatever I want. I don't have any be like, you're wrong. But I mean, it's just really hard. It's so difficult on my end because it's like, look, the dude has a 2.28 ERA right now. Andrew Abbott has
the ERA is not predictive.
No. I constantly just see, look, he's executing this thing, and there are times I just watch guys and I'm like,
what is it he's executing?
I tell you exactly what it is. It's when I have my one sheet every day, right? That goes over every single game, and I have my strike zone plots and I have my data points and everything like that. And it's like, what is so cool to me in the season is I see you had success. What were the things that happened? Great. You have success. What happened? And if it's constantly the same thing, then I go, well, that is successful. And it's Andrew Abbott throwing changeups on the outside edge to right-handers with four-seamers matching the spot with it or going above it, and then curveballs being just around the zone. That is it. That's all he's really doing with this. And for whatever reason, even though we think like, yeah, that four-seamer should get hit more. Yeah, this shouldn't be as deceptive as it is. It has been. And I think I'm at this point of the season where I'm not going to tell you that it's a 2.30 ERA, but I'm also going to say, yes, every single fantasy team should have this man rostered and started because it is continuously worked. And even with the bad stretch where he lost that feel for a second, it has returned. Right? He had another start where it's just like, great. Okay, never mind. We're past that moment. So it's the hardest part with what we do is saying like, yeah, we inherently don't trust it. And I don't think we're going to draft it next year. And also right now, this is working and he's replicated the thing that has worked for him.
Yeah. I mean, the wheels came off so spectacularly the last 2 years that I'm just waiting for the other shoe to drop. In 2023, he looked like, same, like, oh my gosh, really missed on this debut. Guess I'm gonna have to rejigger. And then he allowed 17 runs in his last 13 innings. And was out of the rotation. In 2024, we're like, oh man, he had one hiccup all year. This has been great. In his last 8 plus 6 his last 25 innings he allowed 19 runs and was out of the rotation in August.
Oh man.
So I don't know.
That's a good point of saying like, hey, look, this is you were talking about fatigue before, right? he's shown that there is some level that he hasn't hit before.
I just, like Sierra's been shown, Sierra and DRA have been shown to be the single most predictive single stats. He's a 4.24 Sierra. He, for his career is a 4.46. It's K minus BB is the single most like predictive process stat. He's got a 15%, league average is 14%. I don't know, man. Like, I appreciate the explanation, and I value that from how deep you are into these logs and like what he does start to start.
It's so difficult. There's no
but I'm not sure that like a lot of times it rings to me as like explanation of why it worked, and not necessarily a reason for why it's going to continue working.
Yep, it stinks because because it's like for me as I do this, it's like ranking it throughout the entire season. A guy ends the season at 2 ERA or something. Let's just say that, right? At what point would I have to say like, yeah, he's really good or not, right? Like I can't just like have him ranked as like terrible by the end and he has a 2 ERA and we're done. It's reset for next year, right? So I have to, I have to manage that with also saying, well, right, but now is when it's going to stop, right? And what I do with the list is I have him at a place where I think that this is what the skill set is. And they beat it, and they constantly beat it. And then instead of just saying, well, okay, cool, he's now top 20, it's like slowly and steadily, like, all right, I'll make small.
I just try to maybe I move a little bit slower because Andrew Abbott has been moving up my list. I think he was like 100 when I started. He was 74 my last one. He's 70 now, but that's like it's inching. I don't.
Right. Well, I
totally move the guy a lot. Where I am aggressive though is when a guy comes in the debut, like a Melton or like somebody who's like comes in at a debut, has a rotation spot, and the model numbers are really good for him. Then I will be super aggressive. But
well, okay,
so I have a harder time when the model like really dislikes him, and it's backed up by other models. Like if like fine, if Stuff Plus doesn't like a guy, like I have guys that like Stuff Plus doesn't like Logan Gilbert.
What?
Amazingly, I don't know.
That was
95 Stuff Plus. It's very weird. I don't know what that is about, but I still put him 5th. Stuff Plus doesn't like this version of Brandon Woodruff.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't either. Surprising. It's weird. It's really
that's a lot of command. He's been showing a lot of good command, but and he had a bad start last time.
So okay, so what I like to frame mine as is like if I'm drafting today for the rest of the year, this is the order, right?
Yeah.
And how these get treated, of course, is like I'm making decisions for my fantasy squads of who do I roster and who do I not. And I see Mitch Keller at 64. And I just go, I can't possibly in any situation, if you're saying, hey, Nick, do I pick up Mitch Keller or Andrew Abbott, that you, would say, yes, pick up Mitch Keller, not Andrew Abbott.
I mean, it's not really going to happen.
But let's say, but that's one, but you got to, this is like
my bet is that, yes, Mitch Keller is going to be better than Andrew Abbott going forward.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that was the takeaway.
I mean, just when you frame it that way, it makes it sound ridiculous. And, honestly, I don't know what I'd do. In fact, if I had that decision, I'd probably just look at the next start or two.
Okay. All right, good. That's
what I'm trying to say between 64 and 70 is not necessarily that like Mitch Keller is obviously 6 points better than Andrew Abbott. It's more like, these guys are in this group, and if there was like a good start coming up or a bad start coming up, and you have that's especially if you have multiple guys available in this area.
That's what I do too. I say that a lot. I put them into tiers and saying like this is like we get.
Yeah, I like the tier. I like the tier thing. I wonder how I can do that. I don't know if I can do it with the way that we represent our rankings, but
yeah, I do it literally just like even skill set tiers. So even though they kind of are interchangeable a little bit, or like they get kind of like a DNA.
I think yours are almost too small.
Too small of my grouping. Sometimes I'm just like, okay, I can't put him into the other ones above all of these other like Toby types, but
you have tier 7. Come on, be dope already. And there's just 3 people in it.
I know, because they couldn't. But you see what they're grouped by is I needed to separate.
Oh, I get it. Tani, Mizorowski, and Cease.
It's like, what do I do with you? What do I do?
And just what I thought Cease had figured it out with the larger room. That's the source of chaos too. I think Cease has figured it out with the larger arsenal. I think he's going to be good.
They just had a bad day.
wasn't it the Dodgers again?
Yeah, it gets the Dodgers the second time. But here's the thing: we know the whole thing about you face the same team again. It's not quite, it doesn't correlate. But it's 4 walks. It's just like, oh, cool. You're just not feeling it at all. Nice. In the first, what was it? 4 outs or something like that. It was nuts.
McLean at 43 seems a little high for me. The numbers, like the
oh no,
spin,
that's not for me. Yeah.
Huh?
Sorry, keep going.
Well, I had him in interesting minor leaguers, but I had him as like a 80 or something, 80, 85.
Oh, I thought you had him there. I'm so sorry. Yeah, keep going. Please.
Yeah, Nolan McLean for 43. The reason that I'm worried though is because he showed, highest spin rate, curveball out there. For me, the movement patterns on the curve and the sweeper are very similar, and that the only real difference is the velo. Now, that might be enough, but what I saw against lefties was he did not have a good plan against lefties. It was basically backdooring the curveball over and over again.
Yeah.
And then trying to throw the high and away fastball that he couldn't command.
Right.
He had an 80 location plus in the minors, and he had an 84 when he got up there. And you know what it reminds me a little bit of? It's like a sort of like a higher velo Will Warren.
Oh, interesting.
But Will Warren has a better changeup.
And he also commands the 4-seamer and sinker really well.
Yeah, he commands it better than McLean. So it's like, okay, this is a higher velo, but it's like Will Warren because it's like the sweeper is the best pitch. It's a sinker arm slot. He can throw a 4-seam that's interesting. So you know why Stuff Plus likes it, because it's like, oh, the 4-seam is interesting given the sinker slot, all this stuff. And McLean throws hard. So, you can know why the model likes it from that angle. Yeah. And yet I was like, this dude is going to walk a lot of dudes, and he's going to walk all the lefties. And what Warren did early in the season was walk the lefties. But what he ended up doing was really dialing down the fastball usage. Warren did, and against lefties, and just being like basically a slop pitcher against lefties, but commanding the slop. And I just don't know that that's a road forward that McLean has. So I don't know how to help McLean solve his lefty problem. I think he has a lefty problem. In the minors, he had a 26 K minus BB, 26% K minus BB against righties, a 7% against lefties.
Yeah, that's a really great point. I wasn't aware of that. I probably am too high on McLean. Based on McLean, it's McLean. Should I say McLean? McLean. I'm gonna go with McLean. But the big difference I do see between Warren and McLean, and by the way, Warren, is just like, what's my changeup? I don't know. It's gone now, which is the funniest thing to me.
I didn't mention.
Like, what are you doing? I was like, why? This is great.
Model never really loved it, but when he commands it,
gosh, it drives me nuts. But with McLean, I do think that the curveball, yes, he did try back foot it a lot. It was also with the sweeper as a big called strike pitch for him. And I see that just being, those are 2 really good breaking balls in my view. I see that as, okay, this will always be present. And the biggest question I do have is, right, the 4-seamer and sinker, how are you going to utilize them? Are you going to always be behind batters or struggling to really get ahead of batters with those fastballs? And I should have done a little bit more research on what he's done through the minors, because I take that away, especially in an MLB debut, as a little bit more of adrenaline. So like, all right, 4 walks, you're probably not going to be that. You just need to get these in the zone and you'll be fine.
That could be, I mean,
but that could be part of it too. 7% to lefties is a very stark ratio of K to walk, right? Or K minus walk rate. So that's something that does make me a little more concerned. There's also the conversation about how many innings he's thrown. It's 119 right now. He threw about 100 last year. How much are the Mets going to push it? Well, I think if the Mets is like, yo, we don't have an ace. You're an ace right now.
Yeah, we're auditioning for aces.
You're just gonna let you go.
We had Tim Britton on our pod on yesterday, and one thing that he pointed out to me, because I was like, oh, we're just auditioning, and so I was like, maybe it won't be McLean, maybe it'll be Tong, maybe it'll be Sprout.
Yeah, I hope not for Tong, just because they've told us no the entire time. And I would be so upset. But come on.
But here's something he pointed out. They're not on the 40.
Oh, Sprout isn't either?
No. So if they want to put them on the 40, they don't have any optional guys. The only optional pitcher they have is Reed Garrett, who they're not going to option him. They need him. And so
they would DFA Paul Blackburn, no?
That's what they DFA'd Paul Blackburn. But the next person who's a candidate for DFAing is Frankie Montas. And they owe him $17 million next year.
Yeah.
So they may not be as quick to DFA him.
Ooh. Okay. So
anyway, so it may just be McLean or bust.
Just taking it then.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I mean, you have like the comparisons of other guys like this, and we're going to go into this in a moment. Of like Luis Heel, you have your Zebby Matthews, you have your Emmett Sheehan's. I want to talk about those also because these are the young ones that we're kind of waiting a little bit to do more. And there's actually two. There's Spencer Arrighetti and Luis Heel. You have a massive gap on. I want to get more into that one after this break. So the Pasta Pirate, Spencer Arrighetti. He's at 83 for you, while Luis Heel's at 52. And the way I see it is that Arrighetti is someone that just needs to gear up a little bit. We saw that last year, and then he exploded in the final 2 months of the year. And what's fascinating to me is that both Heel and Arrighetti have a good fastball with a secondary for whiffs that have a propensity for walks on winning ball clubs, who we both think are like, hey, these are good upside plays, but we don't quite know how they're going to play out the next month and change. So I kind of have them attached wherever I rank them at this point.
Yeah.
And I see there is
fair for you to point out like how similar these guys are and how far apart I have them. I don't know. I think that one thing I was nervous about with Arrighetti that is, again, these are things that not necessarily have to do with them as pitchers. But the Astros are getting healthy. So they got Christian Javier and then Luis Garcia. Now,
you don't like
Javier, I know?
Yeah. Huh? You don't like Javier either. Sorry to interrupt you.
Well, what's weird about Javier is that he's throwing all these other pitches and the model absolutely hates them. I think he has like a 0 stuff plus on one of his new pitches, a sinker or something. So that's dragged down his projections, and I have him way higher than his projections say I should. He has a 4.73.
Oh my gosh.
And I have him in the 4.2s.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have him higher, but again, that's like when it's that red, you're like, ugh. Anyway, so Javier's back. Luis Garcia's coming back.
McCullers.
McCullers. I think Arrighetti's safe because McCullers been hurt a lot. Luis Garcia's not all the way back. He even struggled in his last minor league.
Yeah.
So, I have Arrighetti with other guys that have jobs, but I have Arrighetti like near Jack Perkins and Jack Leiter, and even Noah Cameron, where I'm like, is there a chance they get shut down or they get moved out, or you know what I mean? Like they don't make it all the way to the end of the season. Cade Cavalli's there. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
this is a group of pitchers. Cam Schlittler. Cam Schlittler. This is exactly what I'm talking about. I like this group of pitchers.
Oh,
but if there's a tier, the tier is like, hey, here are a bunch of guys I like. I don't know if they're going to even make it to the end of the year.
That makes sense. Cam, by the way, drives me up the wall. I love him. I think he's so good. And there's just literally one problem. He doesn't throw anything down.
Kind of. Yeah, but the fastball is also like, I if he could really dial in the sinker and be able to throw a 4-seam and a sinker that had distinct shapes, I would love him even more. But yeah, he doesn't throw it down. But it just might be a sight thing where if he's trying to throw the 4-seam high, he throws the slider off, and maybe he's a one target guy or something.
Yeah, it's just, look, you just take those and just and all of a sudden he becomes Blake Snell blueprint, and it's amazing. Right now, guys just look in the same spot.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so frustrating because you just need to do that, and then everyone's like, "Oh man."
The last thing about Heel though too is that like I think of Arrighetti as like multiple breaking balls guy, which he kind of is. He's cutter, curve, slider, and this is beyond my model. Like I think Heel has a really good changeup.
Oh yeah,
so I see him as like changeup, slider, 4-seam. Like I think it's the triangle. Like I think he actually has great stuff. I think that the model, I agree with you on that with Heel.
The problem,
the model doesn't capture it all.
I don't believe in his ceiling for command.
Yeah,
And
it's
I
pretty
do
bad.
think that Arrighetti, last year watching him, had a lot more control and also had more backup options. Like he has a 6-pitch mix, right? And it's more things to, we've talked plenty of time about having a larger arsenal is always better. Like how is Skeens
Wait,
now?
this Javier now?
Yeah, Javier is like 5 now or something. It's a
Yeah.
curve sweeper.
Wait, who are you talking about that has 6?
Up sinker, 4-seamer. It's funny.
Arrighetti has 6.
Arrighetti has 6, yeah.
Okay.
And so that to me makes it feel a little safer as like, okay, cool. You're going to find out like 2 of these on a given day.
You're right.
And
He'll actually have 3-pitch arsenal is small.
right. And it's frustrating to be like, dude, where's your changeup today? Okay. Oh
yeah,
your slider. Like, all right.
The bad games, he's like hitting people with the changeup.
And the efficiency is he's not like going to be a 6. He's not going to threaten 7 innings,
Yeah.
Like you're really happy if he gets 6 with Heel. While I feel like Arrighetti eventually will, but if you want to talk about,
let's say I'm too high on him.
Next
2 guys above him, there's got to be a guy that you think I'm way too high on too.
Oh, way too high. I mean, you're too high on Kikuchi. He's just too much of a maddening man.
I don't really have. You know what? I don't have an idea with Kikuchi, man. I thought I was like he's done, and then he rattles off a great stretch, and I know he's been tinkering, and there's like these little changes being made.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, you know what? He's a 4 ERA projection. Let me just put him with the 4 ERA projections. I don't want to think about it anymore. Like it's every time I think I've figured him out, he does the opposite right afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's it.
Shane Baz, though.
Oh, Shane Baz is the one I've highlighted. He was the next one down there. I mean, are you talking about Tanner Bybee, who I think at 42 is like, I can't. I love him for next year because I think everyone's going to be
that's where I get in trouble because I play too many keeper leagues. Like I would, I have Shane Baz in a lot of places in keeper leagues and stuff. I've even picked him up, after other people dropped him. I'm taking on Shane Baz shares for next year in a lot of places. You know what? I would never have done. Started him in that game last night.
Yeah, well, right.
Just
in
home
Tampa
against
Bay
the
with the Yankees with Judge in there now. It's like, come on.
I was just talking to Ryan Pepio about pitching in Tampa. He said, you see us all looking at the board. And I was like, yeah, like velo or whatever. He goes, no, all of our pitches move completely differently in Tampa. We have no idea what our pitches are going to be on any given night when we step on the mound in Tampa.
Oh my God.
Then you add, have you seen the mound controversy? Carlos Rodon fell, in his start, last night.
No.
And then he asked them to come out and fix it. And he threw again. He fell down again.
Oh my gosh.
And people have been saying that it's like the mound is super hard. So
it was the same thing in Sacramento too, right?
Yeah.
These minor league parks. It's almost like we shouldn't have guys in minor league parks. I'm just,
Yes. And that's what, then Pepio was like, Lord willing, like we're going to be back in our regular park next year and it's going to be so much better. And I said, it's like pitching in a lab, right? And he's like, yeah, pitching in the Trop is like pitching in the lab. Everything does exactly what it's supposed to.
Oh, man. I'm so excited for next year.
Right. So I'm like, I believe in Baz. And so why do I believe in Baz? 4-seam has good shape and good velo. Knuckle curve is by Stuff Plus the best knuckle curve. It's good. I know there's a slider cutter thing, but I believe in the cutter thing. It's a little bit like Wainwright, where it's
the cutter has actually introduced a couple like last 2-3 starts.
He's been pretty good. I think.
Love it. Save for the one down the middle of the Judge, but
he did get yacked. Yeah, he got yacked on a cutter and a curve last night, and I posted some video of me talking to Baz, and like people were like, posting all sorts of reaction gifs, to it. And I was like, I should not have posted this video before home start against the Yankees. That's on. I don't think it's on me to like Baz. I think it's on me, but also the ranking should maybe. But the ranking should maybe reflect that there's risk every time he's pitching at home right now.
Well, the good news for you, Eno, is that he gets next to is at Cleveland at Nationals.
Just please shove for all those people in my mentions. But here's the last thing I want to say. One person was saying, have you watched him? And I know I've watched him and I've seen some of the like frustration and sadness maybe come through a little bit. Like he
makes mistake pitches when he shouldn't. The wrong times a lot in it. That
you
really bothers me.
And you can see it on him. He's wearing it. He's wearing it. Even when I talked to him, I was like, this person's not super happy right now. He's
well, he always looks like that.
Yeah, he does a little bit too. but the other thing is though, is like I think that sometimes our eyes lie to us.
Mm.
And so like we as human beings, I think, are very much about what's happening right now. It's hard for us. It's really hard for us. We want to be in the moment, and it's good to be in the moment, but it's also hard for us to think about ourselves on a continuum and be like, I am this right now, but I used to be that, and I'm going to be this. Like, it's really hard to do that, right? Where you're like you're in the middle of thinking that way, maybe the most you'll ever be, where you're about to get married, and like, you have to think of yourself. You're like, I am this now, and I'm going to be that, and I was this. You get reminded of your bachelorhood, and then you get your friend Eno telling you got the dad jokes already. Like, so you at this moment in your life, you're actually maybe the most able to see yourself in 3 time dimensions, right? As opposed to just being like, but when you're like a 20-year-old, 25-year-old pitcher, you cannot see, you don't care about the past, and you cannot see the future. All you can see about is right now, and all you're doing is stepping on your own appendages.
Yeah.
And
good job, I'm proud of you there.
you get sad. And my example for this is Logan Gilbert came up with Seattle. And if you used your eyes to scout Logan Gilbert that year, you would have thought there's 0 chance this is a good pitcher. There is no chance. And I don't care what Nick Pollack says about his extension. And I don't care what Eno Sarris' stupid stuff number says. I'm watching this guy, and he is sad. And he's walking off the mound with his shoulders down, and he just looks like he's never going to be good. And I cannot believe in that dude, because that guy has 0 mound presence, and I am not into it. You know what you need to, how you get mound presence? You win a little. You have some good, you make a good adjustment. You grow, you suffer, you win. You get on the other side. You get older. That's how you get mound presence. Do you think Jake DeGrom had this mound presence when he first came out of the womb?
You know who has really good mound presence right now?
Who's that?
Andrew Abbott.
No, but I like Scoobles, and I'm trying to remember what Scooble looked like. I think actually Scooble was one of the rare guys that kind of, gave you that presence even in the minors. But and I'm not saying that there's not different guys that do, tell you right away that like they're going to be dominant, even though. But I've seen Strider look like he has great mound presence, and this year, he looks a little lost.
I mean, that's another conversation too. I mean, you have him at 32. I had him entering this past week at 42, and I've dropped him even further. It's the fastball is not good.
It's only the projections that are keeping him high. Like
right. It's no.
I was like, he kept dropping. I was like, by projections, he should be like 20th.
Yeah, but it's because it's saying like, hey, the fastball's not going to always be like this. I'm like, no, I think it is.
It doesn't look good. I think I think my ranking for Strider is too high.
But the other last ones before we run out here, and by the way, I'm with you on Boz here. I think like this is going to be better for him. It's just right now it's kind of tough because he's going through it. Yeah. I guess I have as far as who you're higher on, then I mean Sandy Alcantara at 49 is hard because I love the last start. The last start was the only start I think all year when I say that is who he needs to be. And it's because his changeup was along the edges. It was the foundation of Alcantara's approach, finally. And that's really what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be changeups, and then all of a sudden the heat is now, it really surprises on you at 99, 98. But what it has been is him trying to force the four-seamer and the sinker first, and then Sandy would try and throw the changeup, and it just won't be as effective. And then trying to pitch backward a little bit with sliders and curveballs to save him. I'm like, who is this guy? This is not Sandy. So last start was that foundation, and then the four-seamers, which even were not jammed, same with the sinkers, were effective and got outs because of that. So now he gets St. Louis this week. I'm very encouraged. I can't put him at 49 yet because if I didn't see that last start, I would be saying you shouldn't even have him rostered right now because I don't know when it's going to fix itself. And at least there are other guys I'm just, Casey Mize should be fine. Like, let's just start Casey Mize. So that's where I am with Sandy Alcantara. I'm curious if, there's other stuff outside of like, cool, the projection says it's a 398. Seems like he should be better than he has been, etc. Is there anything else that you're leaning in on here with Alcantara?
Well, there's in that last start, he had all of his pitches above 105 stuff plus. That was the first time he'd done that all year. No, he'd done it before, but he hadn't done it a lot. He'd done it in this recent stretch. So what I'd looked at is that since July 4th, he's shown better locations on his pitches. Specifically his fastballs are both above 100. His sliders finally at 99, and his changeups at 107. So that's location plus over the last basically the last 10 starts. And his stuff plus is up to the point where all 5 of his pitches are above 105 for a stretch. And then the last thing is that I think there's been a little bit of poor luck because in that stretch he's had a 3.8 FIP, and he just hasn't stranded anybody, which I think is a little bit weird for a guy who has a sinker and a change. He hasn't, like, every runner has scored. And I think there's another way of showing this. It's like against Houston, he pitches 7 innings, 5 strikeouts and 1 walks. I'm not suggesting that Sandy, with a 50 rank, I'm not suggesting that Sandy's going to go back to the days when he actually struck out a lot of guys.
Well, right.
I'm suggesting that he can get back to being like the sinker, keep the ball on the ground, keep the ball out of the air, and give you like a 21% strikeout rate. So that's what he's been showing recently. And he has a 5 ERA to show for it. I mean, in that Houston game, 5 strikeouts, 1 walk, no homers, 6 earned runs. What? 9 hits?
Yeah.
Like, what?
So one thing I do want to mention is
luck is like this chaos is like we have this chaos of them changing their approach and them changing their true talent. And then also about like this, just the old school luck chaos that we've always been like. I basically just made a strand rate and BABIP argument for you, nestled within, a model argument, but like, these things happen. Like sometimes they get BABIP to death, even when they're actually doing what you're talking about and like starting to put together the actual right tools in the toolbox.
So I do want to mention in 22 for Sandy Alcantara, that was one of the best infield defenses we've seen since 2021 of any team. 21st of every team. So that's of like over 180 or 150 different possible infields was that 2022 Marlins defense. And this one right now is pretty much average. And it's makes me think a little bit about, okay, we like ground ball guys, but we only like ground ball guys with good infields. Otherwise we should hate ground ball guys. Right. And so I think about the Arizona Diamondbacks last year. That team did really well with a lot of their, like, Merrill Kelly came out and did great things, and it was like, oh right, that's a great defense. Cardinals, somehow Miles Michaelis actually does okay like 30% of the time, and it's because of that defense, right? So I do wonder if that hurts
best by infield defense. By now you can split out infield and outfield defense on Savant.
Yep.
12th best, but I think it's still fair because that's 12th best for the season,
right?
Who? You know what I mean? Like, who are we talking about? Like this is a carousel of a team.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a very good point.
But I think that actually speaks to you. It's like, who's playing shortstop tonight? Is it Otto Lopez? Is it Manny Acosta?
Right.
So, Edwards has moved over to second. So, yeah, I wonder if you actually did a start-by-start breakdown, if his better starts were with certain defensive alignments.
Yeah, it's an interesting.
This is a big problem that I have with Baseball References war. Is that basically they say, oh, the Phillies defense or the Marlins defense is this, and so the pitcher gets this credit, and then we're gonna take some credit off based on how the team defense does. But the team defense doesn't play the same every night.
Yeah, right.
Is often not even the same defenders every night.
Yeah, this is actually what I've been talking to Kyle about. We are doing a lot of simulation stuff behind the curtain, and actually, by the way, this is pretty cool. Kyle was like, hey, so I just ran it last night just to see if everything's going okay. It predicted exactly 6.1 innings and 96 pitches for Christopher Sanchez and 2 earned runs and 6 hits on the dot.
Wow.
But it predicted 6 strikeouts and not 12.
Yeah. Well, I mean, almost perfect.
Right. But it's like, okay, we're doing something right here. And
Yeah.
it's been part of one of my holy grail projects is creating an ERA estimator rooted in the exact things that happen. And saying, look, you deserve to have an ERA of this or that based on, you had a clean inning, then you threw your worst pitches. So you should have had this.
Yeah,
And then we can
DRA
say,
is a little bit like that. Yeah, it's trying
and
to
then we can
account
say,
for the umpire, account
right,
for
and
the
say like, cool,
everything.
you threw this pitch that should have been a strikeout. So you know what? Like you should have had 0 ERA instead of a 5 ERA because that should have gotten you
We're
out of
going to
the
give you
inning.
that strikeout.
And then you all of a sudden you had 3 more or something like that. And what I would really want is be able to say, great, this was the exact outs above average that you received on like hits. And like this was been the average one and not, and we already have hit luck based on probability of the pitches that you throw. Like we were calculating like how many hits you should have, which is incredible that every year it just averages out like middle is 0. Like, yes, we did it, so hit luck is our version of BABIP essentially that says like, you deserve it or not. But yeah, something I think about a lot with
numbers on Sandy.
I don't.
Oh, okay.
This is just me to talk about. Yes, I wanted to get there.
Oh, okay, good.
we will get there. But yeah, Sandy is a really tough one because it really hasn't. It's like I want him to take that step really with that repertoire, and it feels like he is, but it's not quite.
It is really tempting on August 20th. And just to sum this all up, I think it's really tempting on August 20th to just basically almost rank by ERA, just be like these, they've gone this far. That'll be who they are.
Yeah.
And I think that is probably most frustrating when people engage with my rankings when I sort of refuse to do that. But I also know that like what's like frustrating for both of us might be that like when we look back, somebody can be like, oh, well, Chris Bubich ended the year with this ERA. And so you were wrong. And it's like, well, when I had him ranked with a 4 ERA projection and you were so mad, from then on, he had like a 4.2 ERA. So I'm right.
Yeah. Right. I've done that. Well, the last one I got to mention here, the last one is one that I've avoided a ton. And it's been honestly, it's been kind of nice how quiet it's been for the last like 2-3 months. Initially at the beginning of the year, I think the biggest hoopla about my rankings was I had Lucas Giolito at like 37 or something, because when I first saw him for the first 4 starts or whatever it was, I was like, oh man, you are a 6-inning guy for a winning ball club who's going to have like a 3.5-ish ERA, whatever, with a strikeout per inning and like a decent whip. Like this is the kind of Holly that you just don't think about, right? That's a better version of a Toby. It's just like, great. And there was so much discussion about like how ridiculous I am because of ERA and stuff. Then he was amazing, and it's been silenced, fortunately. And then even during when he was amazing, I was like, oh, he's not this good, guys. Like this is not real either, though.
Not real good strikeout rate. Yeah, what's going on?
And it's also because like as far as his arsenal goes, I mean, I certainly look back at the 35 and say, cool, what I should probably have had is 45. And it's because I thought all 3 of the pitches were working together, and really not. He's not really had this old changeup. The slider was better, as I was hoping it would be. And last start, I think he had like a 40% CSW with it, which is yes. But then the 4-seamer is not consistently placed where he wants it to. And it's not a 111, though, You have him at 111.
Yeah, this one actually, this one might be really funny just to finish things off. This one might, first of all, my projection for him is a 4.75. So,
what's stupid,
he's among the 4.75s, but also, I have pushed other guys. Like I've Abbott like 40 ranks ahead of him with a 4.7 year projection. Right. So I could have pushed him. You're right. I think that here's the dumbest explanation. I mean, his K-minus BB also is below average. So I don't have anything where anything in my normal, like, I don't have any green for him, so it's like, oh, why do you have him here? But also every time I've watched him, I guess I've watched the bad games.
Yeah, I get that.
Like I watched that Padres game and I was like,
oh gosh, this is,
okay, I'm not missing anything. Yeah, I've got him in the right place. He has other good games right around that one.
Is innately by having a leash of like 95 pitches or so is so absurdly valuable.
You can't pitch your way out of it or whatever.
Well, it's well, no, if you just like, if you list all the pitchers in the majors who are allowed to go and consistently go 95 pitches, you will see that 80% of them are valuable for your teams. Right. And there's a reason why. And, it's because they essentially know how to figure it out a little bit better than others do.
Or also their R&D department has decided like this guy can actually maybe touch the third time through the order.
Right. That's actually a phenomenal point. Exactly. Yeah. And it's also when you see that with a 12% K minus BB, which is a little bit below average, but also okay, cool, you have some strikeout ability. That then takes that a little bit higher for me, right? Yeah, obviously there's going to be your Eric Fedes in the world.
But there's also that park, dude. That park.
I know. It suppresses home runs, though.
Yeah,
it does. It gives more doubles and whatnot. Fine,
and that's interesting because he's like when he does get in trouble, a lot of times it's homers. So.
Right. I think about that too. Of like, oh, everyone was afraid of Crochet going to Fenway. I'm like, no, this is good. What burns ace is home runs. It's not like continuous hard contact. It's like the one hard contact,
That's right. Yeah. I wasn't worried about Crochet, but subpar. All my love for Cutter and all these guys in the past, like it's so fizzled out so badly.
Well,
that,
the last I see actually I had someone else highlight is Ryan Berger at 113. I kind of love this guy. I'm so curious.
I would recommend reading. There's a piece on Fangraphs about how he's an ace in one regard. I was talking to Trevor May about this. Trevor May agreed that if you are a carry four seam guy, like throwing a sweeper is so different that it usually chokes a lot of velo off it. That's the point of the piece. And Michael Rosen, he says Michael Berger has like the fifth smallest differential between his fastball velo and his sweeper velo among guys who are behind the ball carry fastball guys.
Right.
So in that way, he's a little bit like a mini Pavetta, I guess, because he's got a carry fastball.
Yeah.
And then he's got like an 86 mile an hour sweeper.
Is not as steep as Pavetta's.
That's true. Yeah.
That's the cool part. It's like, whoa, hold on. You're getting this vert and you're not, you're actually like average, I think, when it comes to VAA.
Yeah, I don't know why my model's not picking up on that. I mean, that's part of why it's
he throws like 92, 93.
Again, he's the highest I have a guy with a 4.9 projection.
I mean, Sugano's at 4.94, right? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, right. Those two. I'm like, I like you better than a 4.9.
Oh man. All right. I could be talking to for a very long time, guys, about all this stuff. Joey Wentz at 118. How dare you?
DVR is mad about that one.
Yes, extension, baby.
Yeah, and also some new cutter grip. He's
a lefty.
About. Yeah, I guess.
All right. But this is a blast as always. And I didn't actually really get you to say like, Nick, how dare you rank this guy so high? I was really only like Mackenzie Gore. Just leave me with this and I'll think about it. Who was the guy that you're like, Nick, you're stupid? I mean, Clean did say too.
I didn't. Well, we talked about a couple. It's fine. I don't think you're stupid.
I know you know. I know. I'm just.
I just want real quick shout out. Like we will both be, I think, at the Arizona Fall League.
Oh yes, guys, sign up for that. 100%.
That it's a blast.
It is. It's literally how this podcast started. Exactly. So go there. It is so much fun every single time. You get to talk to everybody. We all want you to talk to everybody. It's really just so great. Go sign up for that. Baseball HQ's Arizona, First Pitch Arizona. You got to go to that.
November.
And I'll be watching on Friday. Hopefully, has a moment. We'll see. Bubba Chandler eventually make his debut in that game as a long reliever.
Bulk reliever. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. You have no idea the emotions I had this morning.
Oh
gosh. But it's also Shane Bieber. It also could be Robbie Snelling is a possibility there too. So I will be watching this on
the model numbers on him are great in the minors.
They got much better because he increases
a lot better. Yeah.
So he's a very sneaky one that you might want to pick up now before it gets announced.
That's what I'm trying to do. Yep.
The other thing is that it's free for MLB.TV this weekend before ESPN gets it. So, so you can watch it. Even if you don't have MLB.TV, you can go to playback.tv/pitcher list. You can watch the live video with us as we watch it. It's Twitch for Live Sports, guys. I'll be there watching all three of those Shane Bieber returning. Oh, man. Maybe I can convince Eno just to say, like, hi. This is cool. The stuff model likes it. Bye.
I'll be in the air on the way to Chicago. If you're in Chicago,
Nice.
on my Discord, I put the bars I will be in on Friday and Saturday night.
Is it Saber Seminar? Or,
Saber Seminar. Yeah, if you have the
nice.
means, I would check it out because it is a lot of fun. A lot of really interesting baseballs gets talked about there and presented.
Beautiful. All right, guys, that is it. So on behalf of Eno Sarris, my name is Nick Pollack, and we'll talk again about the craft of pitching next week.